Thank you for tuning in to Gloves Off Seattle. Your hosts, Patti and Meagan, will be talking about all things Seattle women's hockey. A huge Pacific Northwest welcome to the PWHL. Gloves Off Seattle! Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Gloves Off Seattle.
Gloves Off Seattle.
I didn't do it right this time. We never do it right.
We have to figure it out.
We have to figure it out. Anyway, on today's episode, we have our lovely friend Bryan. And thank you, Bryan, so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And we have a whole house full of people. So if you hear any background noise, that's what's going on. Our kiddos are here and you can hear them in the background, but that's okay because this is life. Bryan, first of all, let's talk about how we met.
Yeah, sure.
Bryan slid into our comments on YouTube.
Yeah.
You were kind of the YouTube aficionado, and I appreciate about that.
You make it easy because you when you make a mistake, you're like, well, if that's a mistake, someone pointed out.
And Bryan very generously and very nicely points out our mistakes and definitely gives us lessons, and we appreciate every one of them.
We do. Yes, and that's honestly that's the way we feel. And we were actually talking a little before the show about how we're here to learn and we're not here to have an ego about it. So I love the fact that you school us, Bryan, but go ahead.
Well, like normally I was, geez, like, am I like, but no, you're just like very open and like aware of your knowledge and where you might not know something, and then I get to look it up and feel like a smarty pants and all that. So like it works out pretty well. But I have really been enjoying the podcast. So I love your curiosity for the game and for the PWHL, and so it's been really cool to watch you discovering things, but also like bringing your own knowledge to it as well. Like I know we've been talking a little bit about the draft and the expansion draft, and how, you know, if you make GMs making protection mistakes in the expansion draft can be a big problem for their team. And Patti has, I guess, firsthand knowledge of that as a Ducks fan. So
yeah, which we've talked about a little bit on the podcast.
Hurts. It still hurts.
Yes. The Vegas expansion draft did not go well, according to many a Ducks fan. So, but I wanted to say, so Bryan lives in the Seattle area and is gonna be a PWHL Seattle fan. Is a PWHL Seattle fan? I don't think gonna be. We are PWHL Seattle fans. Absolutely. And we've got to meet you in person a couple of times. We don't live very close together, so we decided to do this via Zoom. But really what we want to talk about today, and then tomorrow we are walking into the great unknown of the free agency. And I've asked so many questions to Bryan about this and to Patti, because I'm just like, I don't even understand what half of this means. And I don't think that even people who are big fans of hockey understand what's all going on right now. So
yeah, and even those who do maybe don't understand the scale of this. The scale of this UFA period. Like I was just looking it up, and I think like the Kraken have, I mean, they've got a complete roster. They have like one UFA that role on their sort of starting roster that they may need to fill, one roster slot that they absolutely need to fill. Like it might benefit them to go out and get more unrestricted free agents so they can push people down the depth chart and into the minors, but like they really only need to like hire one person at the NHL level. And I looked up the Ducks, and the Ducks are in the same position. The PWHL Seattle has 8 jobs to fill, and PWHL Boston has 11 pending like UFAs to fill. So
to acquire.
Yes. Now, some of those were on their team last year, are very likely to re-sign with them.
Okay.
But the potential for a big shakeup in the league is definitely there. So we're going to find out. But this is really like, even if you understand what unrestricted free agency is in the context of other leagues, in the context of this league right now, this is seismic. It's really quite exciting.
It's next level. It's next level.
And hearing those numbers, and I think this is always, I mean, we're not an NHL podcast. No, I mean, we talk a little bit about the NHL, but it's always good for comparison, right? Because it's like, that's all we have right now as far as another professional hockey league at the same level as what we want this league to be at, is like, how can we compare? So, okay, so let's move on. Let's move on and talk about what we think is going to happen tomorrow, because today is Sunday, the 15th, but tomorrow, on the 16th, when this free agency window opens up and all, you know, proverbial hell breaks loose. I don't know. I mean, who knows? This league is so wild, and people we've talked about this. It's like, as a new fan, as a new hockey fan, as a new PWHL fan, it's like I am drinking from the fire hose. There is so much information coming at us, like so much information that I'm like, okay, now what does that mean? Okay, now what does that mean? Okay, now what does that mean? I'm like, I'm gonna feel like such a pro next year when all this happens. I'll be like, oh yeah, we've already done this. I've done this before. I know what all this means.
Well, last offseason was so calm by comparison. Like all these teams have locked up their players mostly for like 2 or 3 years. There's like, oh wow, it's a big deal that like Daryl Watts is leaving Ottawa and going to Toronto. Like, oh, what a big story in the PWHL. Like this is like a little spurt of lava coming out of the top of the volcano. Like this offseason is just the full eruption. Like,
But I think that Meg Turner has shown that I think she's going to go slow and steady tomorrow. I don't think she's going to come out of the gates like.
Yeah, I don't think she has the money, like the cap space left to do much else. But there's some interesting things that she could try to do with like limited funds. She is, you know, from a cap perspective, and that's the other thing. We don't know exactly how much cap space we have. Like. Kara Gardner-Moray at Vancouver basically came out and said, like, we saved a bunch of money in the expansion process. Like, we have money for UFA. Megan Turner hasn't said anything like that. So I think like the operating assumption is that they don't have much cap space left. Like Knight and Carpenter are big contracts to begin with, and they probably had to give Schroeder a raise and Kayla Barnes to get 3 years from her, right? Like that. Yeah, that probably required an outlay of funds. So like, you know, there's probably not a lot of money left to do things in UFA, but there are players like you can look at. I wish we knew exactly how much money they had. I know like the PWHPA, the players are sharing their salary information with each other now, which gives them an advantage. Well, it improves their ability to negotiate with the team.
Absolutely. So I work in corporate America, and this is what I tell people all the time. I'm like, the only person who wins by you not talking about your salary is the corporation. Like you do no individual wins when we don't have transparency as far as what we're getting paid. So I think that's awesome, because then they can even know. I mean, when I first entered, this is an aside, but I'm going to say it anyway. Like when I entered the Seattle market, I was coming from a market that had a different salary range than here, and I had no idea what I could ask for, and I thought I asked for the moon. And now, knowing, you know, 6 years in, I could have asked for even more. You know, like I just had no idea. I had no idea. When you don't know, you don't know, and that makes it so hard to negotiate. So I'm applauding, you know, the Players Association for allowing them to, you know, to share, and they should. I mean, they shouldn't be stymied in that. So
yeah. And I mean, it's tricky. Like people are sensitive about like their financial information, their financial status. Like people are nervous about sharing their salary, but like it's pretty typical in sports leagues for it to be shared. And it definitely, that like if everyone on PWHL Toronto, for example, is, you know, sharing their salary with the Players Association, the other players, then those players going into negotiation know how much cap space Toronto has left. Right?
Absolutely.
And so if Toronto's like, oh, we don't really have, you know, we can't give you that extra, you know, 20K. And he's like, yeah, you do. You
BS. That money. BS, you got it.
Exactly. So it's pretty straightforward. It's good that they're doing it. It'll be interesting if, like other leagues, it eventually becomes shared publicly. Like it's difficult from the outside, both journalists and like fans, to kind of understand some of the moves that the players and teams are making without having, like, we do know which players are making over 80,000. So that's public.
Right.
Each team needs to sign at least 5 of those players. And this kind of gets back, I think I never fully explained the salary cap, but like basically the teams need to hit an average salary of like used to be 55K and now it's like around 58K, something like
that.
Yeah.
3%.
Right.
Yeah. They need to hit that average within their like set roster, which like effectively defines the salary cap. So
I bet somebody has a spreadsheet for that. I'm just putting that out there, but I guarantee you
salaries on here. Are the salaries not?
We don't know. They're not public. No.
Well,
we know who's 80K plus, but that's the only thing that's really public knowledge. And I think that there's only 2, right?
Carpenter and Knight.
No. Well, currently on Seattle, but like there were players signed in the signing window that almost certainly got 80K plus. Like
so you think they got? So you think Caleb Barnes got bumped up?
Yeah, I think Caleb Barnes for sure got bumped up. Okay. To get 3 years, like think about it from Caleb Barnes' perspective, right? Like she can either she can just wait until she's a UFA, because like you're buying UFA years at that point, right? When you sign someone to 3 years, so like she mitigates her risk a little bit by like getting her contract early, but she can also get like an increased payday, because like otherwise she's on she would have been on a rookie contract. I think like the first rounders get a little bit more money, but like she's not an 80K, right? So she can just like, if we don't give her a raise, her incentive is just to go to unrestricted free agency and then like highest bidder, right? So for her to sign with us in the window, you need to give her more money, right? Because you're basically to go to her in the window and get a 3-year commitment from her, you need to give her more money, because
give her more money.
So we do have like Carpenter and Knight, they came off of existing 80K contracts, right? We know that's public record. But then like Caleb Barnes probably signed one, Kareem Schroeder probably signed one. Daniel Serdachny is like the interesting case, because she didn't have a super productive PWHL year last year, but she's also like this national team player who's like scored these huge goals, and the 2nd overall draft pick from her draft class. So what did she get? And apparently there was some sort of bidding war between Vancouver and Seattle to get her. So who knows what that drove her value up to then. Like, so she could be a very low value because like she didn't score very much last season. She could be a very high value because of her national team pedigree and the fact that there seems to have been some kind of bidding war. So we don't know. That's the thing kind of getting me going into UFAs. Like, how much did we pay Daniel Serdachny? And one of the PWHL discords I was in, someone was like, oh yeah, they gave her 100,000. I'm like, geez, like, I don't think they gave her 100,000, but like, when teams are negotiating against each other for this potential future superstar who hasn't shown it yet in the league, but could be a potential superstar,
has the potential definitely to be one.
Who knows what the money got to, and we'll kind of be able to like reverse engineer what it was after the dust settles.
Everything, when everybody's on the roster. Okay, so go ahead.
I was just going to ask, because I'm going to say this again, my knowledge is coming from the NHL. I'm new to this. We're all new to this, but I'm really new. Because the NHL, you have the roster that's 22 players, right? And then you have the minor league team and the under and the minor league team and the other teams, and people are going up and down and up and down. Where are our reserves coming from? Like how is the PWHL work? How do we do that?
So first of all, this is a big problem for the league and for the players and for the PA. This is something that like Kendall Coyne Schofield has talked about. She did I think it was in her interview with Erica Ayala, who does like Locked On Kraken, but also she does everything. But she's also does Women's Hockey Report for Locked On, and has covered the Olympics and all kinds of stuff. Amazing. I believe it was she did an interview with Kendall Coyne Schofield and league representative, and that was one of the things that was brought up by KCS was like the reserve players. Like we may need to expand our rosters, because like reserve players are in a weird spot right now. Like one of the players I was looking at potentially Seattle signing as a UFA is oh gosh, I'm trying to remember her name. She played one game. Yes, Jessica Condes, very interesting player, but she was Toronto's reserve player, one of Toronto's reserve players last year. She's from Calgary. I think she was like in Calgary, and they had a suspension to one of their defenders, and she flew in and played one game for them, 7 minutes, and got a goal. So
wow,
she's a goal per game player in the PWHL. But it was like, it wasn't for an injury, right? So like she got one game, right? And I know that like Blair Turnbull talked about like how important it was, who's a leader on that Toronto team, their captain, how like important it was that these reserve players, like, they're not really getting paid. They're getting, they're having to stay in shape. Sometimes they're with the team. So like, I think in that case, like she was in Calgary for like Christmas. Anyway, like it was an interesting situation. But yeah, these reserve players are, the league needs to do something about it. It's not a good system. The players aren't like hyper well paid, but at least like it's with the housing stipend, like at least they're granted like stability in this league, which hasn't been something that they've had in other leagues. But the reserve players, I don't think even have that. They just have kind of maybe promise or hope or something, and the league should be giving them more than that. So but now with expansion, like it's going to be really tough to like do expanded rosters like while the league is already expanding. So but I do hope that they do expand the rosters a little bit, so teams can carry around a few more additional players and have them adequately paid and give them the stability that they deserve.
Maybe that's where the league is going.
Yeah, because there's no farm teams or anything like that, as Patty points out. Like there's no development league even that you can really pull from. You can't.
Maybe that's where we need to go.
You can't pluck players out of college and have them come play a game for you.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely. No. I mean that, and I think right now, like that's obviously where all these players are coming from, where it's really interesting because you made the comment about the fact that the NHL players generally start younger, and a lot of them are not coming from colleges. I mean, not that none of them play in college, but a lot of them are coming from, like the WHL, which is we've been fans of, like they played from the ages of 15 to 20, or not even, like, they're 16, they're 17, now they're 18. They played 3 years in a minor league team, and they're ready to go into the NHL. And just like these women don't have that. It's not the same opportunity right now.
Well, they're not ready to go into the NHL. Typically, they're ready to go into the AHL,
right,
but they're ready to go into pro hockey.
Yeah, they're ready to be a pro hockey player at that point at 18, right? And so anyway, it's a different scenario because most of these women, good grief, like there's some of them are duly degreed. Like they're not they're not just like they've got their masters, they're going to pharmacy school. Like it's insane. I mean, they're doing
like
all
Emily Brown, right? Emily Brown, right? So we drafted Emily Brown with the last pick in the expansion draft. I'm like, I want to learn more about Emily Brown. Yeah. So I'm like pull up this interview with Emily Brown on YouTube. It's like, she's just an engineer.
She's just an engineer. I know. In this
league, it's unremarkable.
No, it is.
Like Gwyneth Phillips is an engineer. I think Sophie Jakes is an engineer. Like Claire,
and that's the insane thing is it's like not only are they the most intelligent, like well-rounded people, they are the elite of the elite female players. Like that's I mean, all of them are like at least double threats, if not triple and quadruple threats. So it's
like if Emily Bryan was in the NHL, like it would be like, oh man, like an engineer, like her nickname would be like the engineer, and she'd they'd have posters of her like a drafting board or something, right? Like in the PWHL, it's just like
that's all you got.
Just another post grad, like just no big deal.
That's funny.
Like I think
okay, so you told us one person. Well, I'm sorry, tell me what the name is again that you think that we might pull in the UFA.
Oh, in UFA?
Yeah.
Well, Jesse Condas, that would be interesting, right?
Condas. So
there were a couple like so first of all, there's Cindy. So in UFA, God, all over the map. But so we're looking for right. So
we're looking for right defenders.
So Meagan
Right
Turner has
shooters.
said that she's looking for right-handed defense.
Right.
She's looking for righties. We like overdrafted lefties, so we're looking for righties. So I'm like, okay, let's look for right-handed defenders. Right?
Okay.
Because this is way more of a concrete task.
Okay, this is why I call Bryan the brain trust, because he's done all this. He's done all this research already. I love this. Okay.
There's like 38 forward UFAs with 10 games played or more, right? Like that's the other thing. Like Meagan Turner, and I think not all of the players in this league are elite, but I think like what you've said is like all of them are good, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. So
I think they are all elite. Like I'm gonna go there, because I think that when you look at the caliber of talent that is in the draft prospects, you know what I mean? Like I'm just like they're all good. Like they're all good. Like we're not pulling from, nobody's getting a player that's halfway there. Like they're all there. They've been playing internationally or collegiately at the highest levels, and like that's who these women are. Like they're just elite players.
And there was some thought, like when the league started, like what's going to happen when all these PHF players and new draftees like come into the league, right? Like is like Marie-Philippe Poulin just going to like skate circles around half the other team, right? Like no, that's not how it went down. Like obviously, like
she held her own, but she
obviously Poulin like scores a ton of goals, but she's not like running over fourth lines, right?
Nope. Like
that's not how it goes. She's got to work for every goal she gets against any line she goes up against.
Yep.
That's the standard that we're looking at. Now, when I say that like not all players are elite, like I think not all players in this league can score at the level of like an Alex Carpenter or a Hillary Knight or an MVP. There is.
I think you're going to have your superstars no matter what, right? Like you're going to have your superstars.
But no one is looking out of place, in my opinion. No one's getting steamrolled by the Stars. So we're in a situation where there's all these UFAs, and you kind of like need to call all of them, like in a way. So for like Meagan Turner, right? She is looking for depth UFAs that are going to be playing here for not very much money, and she needs to find ways of attracting them. She needs to find the most interested parties, right? And for Seattle in particular, there can be some difficulty with that, right? We're not a hockey development market, really. There's not a lot of players that are from here. Like Kayla Barnes is as close to a local as we're probably going to get.
And she's from Southern California.
She's from
1,100 miles. No, I know. 1,100 miles away. I know my wife is from there. I know.
There are players from Vancouver who perhaps might want to be in the Pacific Northwest. But hey, guess what? There's a team in Vancouver that they can go play for.
Right.
So we may be able to attract some players that are from the lower mainland that, for whatever reason, like Vancouver doesn't have room for, but we're probably always going to be second in the pecking order to them in terms of those, right? Even the European free agents, right? Like the European free agents, like, I mean, all things being equal, would you rather be, across the Atlantic from your home or across the Atlantic and then another whole
the entire country? Yeah.
Like, so we're going to be trying to find the players who like want to be on the West Coast specifically, and that's just going to require a lot of contact and knowledge of these players, because you're not going to get
I hear what Bryan's saying. We're gonna attract all the queer players. Is that what you're saying, Bryan? Am I reading into this? Like, am I reading into this too much?
I wasn't going to go there at all. But like,
I can go there.
You can go there. But there's definitely, there is an aspect of this UFA that is kind of about that, right? Like you have players in this league that are in relationships with each other that are separated across teams. Like they have a opportunity to join each other through the UFA process. There's like
wait. There's love stories I don't know about. Wait.
There's a list
Shut up! Send me the list,
Text
Bryan. I need
Bryan.
the list.
I gotta send you the list. I gotta send you the list.
Send the list.
There's some
Okay,
people
so
in
there's
here-
a TikTok I saw about a guy that was explaining the Stanley Cup to his girlfriend. Have you seen this? Just explaining the Stanley Cup to his girlfriend of like it was a relationship. Like they were vying for one, like the two teams. were
Stanley's
vying.
on the market.
It was so funny.
It was
It was
very
I'm like, we need to talk about hockey like this. This is great.
Well, there's some. So I'm in the the PWHL league Discord.
Right.
Is pretty wild. And there's a user there who goes by. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't call him out. Don't call him
Maybe
out.
I shouldn't say who did. But like, there was a user there who basically said like, I had some free time. Like, I just went on Instagram. I found everyone who's in a relationship with each other.
Deep
I need that list.
You've not done
Put
these
it
deep
into a
dives
map.
yet.
I've done some of them. So like all the players. So I won't even lie. Like I put together our audience is gonna love this. I put together a spreadsheet, and one of the columns on the spreadsheet is queer question mark because I'm like I want to know. Like I want to know what the what the queer contingent is going to be on this team, and there's only 3 known of the 12 players, like known, solidly known. And I deep dived on some of their Instagrams and other just to like see like, and some of them are in relationships with men, which is totally fine. They can be that. And then other people are like, ambiguous. Like I have no idea. Like there's no relationship status. There's no pictures.
But here's the thing, right? Like this is what kind of makes me like as like a hockey nerd, like that's like on some level, like not uncomfortable, but it's like so normally there are hockey fans that like really dive into the personal lives of the players, and that's totally fine, just so long as you're not toxic about it, right? Which most people who are not
I'm just fun. I just think it's fun.
Which most people who are interested in that are not toxic in any way. Like it's like we want to see ourselves like reflected in our heroes, right?
Absolutely.
And so, but for me, like I'm not really that interested in that, but I'm like interested in like who's signing where. But like this is important
because you're married, Bryan.
Where.
Because you're married, like, that's why you're not into it.
Because he's married? Is that why he's not into it?
I'm just saying, my married wife still into it, and I'm not sure how to equate that here. So,
It's like a soap opera.
It is like a soap opera. It is not in the best way humanly possible. Like I love the fact that these people are human and that they have lives and they have significant others and they're willing to share some of that. I don't
because the NHL ones don't do that, and I just read an article on that. They're not doing it. They're the PWHL is doing it where they're not.
Yeah, and I think that it's good for the fandom too, because it's like, again, like you said, if I can see myself reflected in whatever way, whether that's Hockey Barbie or like somebody else, like if I can see myself reflected, it makes me more invested in them as a player because I'm invested in them as a human. So
I think this is like in any league, like fans are interested in like the person. Most fans, a lot of fans are interested in the personal lives of the players. Like the joke is like when you go into Google and you put in like the name of any athlete.
Oh yeah.
It's like name of athlete wife or
married to, right? Yeah, married to. Yeah. Yep.
So like people are interested in any league. It's just especially like more relevant here because like some of these players are together and teammates, and it can impact UFA decisions.
Absolutely.
Right? Like I'm trying to understand or trade talks. Like Ian Kennedy was talking about how Jamie Bourbonnais was like New York was in rumored trade talks with Ottawa because like to get Bourbonnais to Ottawa because like her partner is Emily Clark, right?
Oh, yeah, didn't know that, but great, awesome.
Well, they have a bunch of they're on TikTok.
They're very public.
They're very public. So like
this is me not paying attention to any team that's not Seattle.
I actually think I knew that, but it didn't actually.
There's a great video of them actually like kind of teasing each other over like the holiday break over Christmas because like Bourbonnais was basically like Emily Clark would not stop working out. Then Bourbonnais was just like relax. Chill out. So they had
break.
They had this video where like Jamie was like interrupting all of Emily's like
that's cute
workout stuff. Like it was very very cute.
I love it. Good for them.
Yeah, but anyway, but now it's like okay, now this is like highly relevant to the on ice performance of the New York Sirens because they may have to trade or have to, or they may want to trade one of their best remaining defenders, Jamie Bourbonnais, and like, yeah, it like affects what's going on the ice. So
100%.
like, so that makes me feel a little awkward because like I don't like I'm not normally.
You're not normally into that, but when it comes to trade decisions, you're into it.
Yes, I'm highly into it, but and so
Bryan needs all the information. That's what Bryan needs.
That is Bryan needs all the information.
Yeah. Give me the information.
His spreadsheet is probably like 10 times the size of mine.
So just another tangent. No, it's just
hyperfixation. I have that problem too.
Hyperfixation. But like in terms of okay, God, like every tangent. This league is like the tangent league because like there's so many interesting things about it that are all like related to things, but they all kind of go off in all kinds of crazy directions.
Yep.
But I'm trying to get myself to focus on the UFA period.
Right. Okay. I'll stop.
Sydney Morin would be an interesting right. So it would be an interesting like right shot D for Seattle. So first I'm like, okay, how do we get her here?
Where is she currently?
Boston.
In Boston.
UFA,
okay.
So she's
not
no,
I know. I know we're talking about UFA. I just didn't know. I just didn't know she was.
So she was with Boston.
Okay.
But I'm like looking it up. I'm like, she's good. She's solid. Like she's got like 8 points. She's like played 19 minutes a game. And then I like go and look her up and she's like, she's from Minnesota. Right. But then she was initially drafted by Minnesota in the inaugural year and released by Minnesota. And then went to Boston, which is where Megan Turner was the assistant general manager.
Right.
And then eventually extended for a year in Boston. But maybe we can convince her to come to Seattle if we have the money to do it, which I don't know if we do, but she would be a very good fit. And then, of course, because it's a league of insane amounts of tangents, I guess sometime between like her college years and joining the PWHL, she was hired as a pro scout for the Carolina Hurricanes because, of course, because all these women are capable,
multifaceted, multi-talented. Yeah.
But I'm not sure we have the money to do that. But then I'm like, well, maybe then it's like, but do we have the position? So we have the relationship, the general manager, the AGM relationship. If we have the money, maybe we could make it work. She'd be a really good fit. Can we give her extra playing time? Can we give her elevated playing time? So the places that might sign her, like if she did go to Minnesota, where she's from, she'd be competing for first pairing right D time with Lee Steckline. That's a tall ass.
That's huge.
If she stays in Boston, she would be competing for top pairing right D time, as she is used to by now, with Megan Keller, which is also a tall ass. She comes here and she's competing with Kayla Barnes. Like, how does she view that? Like, almost how we view that is almost immaterial. It's how she views that. How much does she think she's going to get out of that? Is Kayla Barnes going to be deployed like a full top pairing right defender, or is the share going to be like more equitable as she can be used more situationally? Like, there's all these dynamics that like Sydney Morin, as like a pro scout from the Carolina Hurricanes, apparently, has to process when she's making this decision about where to sign. So maybe she just decides to stay in Boston, right? So then we go down the list and we look at like Zoe Boyd in Ottawa. We've got
I would be sad about Zoe Boyd.
He would not be sad about that.
Zoe Boyd's got some nice arms. That's all I have.
Zoe, excellent. I would love to Zoe Boyd, but like there's a lot of opportunity out east.
Can I put that out in the universe right now?
Yeah.
Let's sign Zoe Boyd.
Gosling out there. Got her.
I did. I would like to sign Zoe Boyd. Let's make that happen. That would make our queer contingent go up too. So
I don't know if we have the budget for those mushrooms. I hope we do.
You're killing me, Smalls, here with this money talk.
I don't know. We don't know. But she is someone who's probably in line for a raise, right?
Yeah.
Natalie Bookbinder is another right shot D that I really like, out of from Minnesota Frost.
Interesting enough, we have no Minnesota players.
We
she
have
could be our
Emily
first
Brown,
maybe,
who's
but
from Minnesota, but not.
they
No,
also
no,
have
no,
a lot of
nobody.
needs.
Yeah.
So and she could also probably get a race somewhere. And then she's from like Rochester, New York, so that's like close to Siren. That's really close to all the Eastern teams, close to
far
Toronto
from
in
Seattle.
a way, right? And then we go. So and she plays 17 minutes average ice time. So now we're, and also the thing with these players is like we have like the players we got out of the draft are also relatively high pedigree, right? So they're used to playing a few minutes. Like who do you bump down the lineup for Bookbinder, even though she's right shot and she's better on that side? So then we sort of get to like the more reserve players, right? The ones that were kind of like not playing full seasons. There's like Kellyanne Nadeau. She's like from Montreal. She like went to university in Montreal. She played 4 games, an average of like 9 minutes a game. She got 0 points. She probably wants to stay in Montreal, but I don't know. I don't know her heart, right? That's why maybe you give her a call.
And Patty always talks about Montreal being a fishbowl for hockey players, and that sometimes it would be nice. I think she feels like
to be a little more
anonymous, not to be able to be in a city and not feel like you can't
potentially. But as a player, she with like 4 games played, kind of like more on the like reserve player kind of like tier list. Like she may benefit from being at home. Like then there's like Charlotte Akervik from Frost, played 2 games, right? But so these kind of players are ones that maybe compared to just drafting a player, right? There are 2 players that kind of stood out. One was Jessica Condas, who I talked about scoring that goal when we were talking about reserve players. She interests me. Like that goal she scored, like that was a hell of a shot. Like she was wide open with all the time in the world and was like set up very well by Daryl Watts, I think. But like that was a heck of a shot. And she's also from Western Canada, so she's like from Calgary. So she would be a little bit closer to home, Seattle, right? So someone to think about, right? Not necessarily like go get Jessica Condas, right?
Yeah.
Think about. There's also Dominika Laskova. She is a defender on Team Czechia, and that immediately got me thinking. So she played 5 games. She got 10 minutes a game. That's like not a bad average, even though she's not playing a full season. But like 10 minutes a game, she's gonna have some responsibility there. But she's Czech, right? We've got Captain Czechia.
Yeah, with Teralova.
Teralova, like maybe it would behoove us to bring over another Czech player, right?
And now, maybe she would want to come.
Maybe she would want to play with her captain. Maybe she would want to go to Ottawa and play with the coach of Team Czechia, probably like that, right? So like there are all these factors. It's too complicated to predict or to really say like who we should go after. But like the point is like there's a lot of people Meg Turner could be calling right now,
right?
And then it's about figuring out who wants to be here and like who fits here, and it's going to require a lot of outreach on her part. I am daunted by the scale of her job this offseason, and really for a lot of these GMs. And then so that's what we do. So maybe we get like a Condas or Laskova, who are kind of like tweeners in the league, like not getting full seasons of play, and now that the league has kind of diluted a bit, there's some more room for them,
right?
Or maybe we just go to the draft and try to
roll the dice.
So wait, there's a potential that we won't sign anybody.
Oh no, we're going to be signing people. I'm just talking about specifically the right shot D.
You're talking about right D. Okay.
No. We're gonna be signing people.
Okay. Absolutely. I was like, wait, is that a potential in the universe that we would sign nobody?
Our core is full enough that we might not actually sign a defender. Like I think we will. I think we might sign one. To not necessarily be on the roster, like maybe reserve or like the 7th D, right? But not. There's potential that we don't actually go out and get
another defender,
another right shot defender. We may just draft our next roster defender. That is possible. Forwards, we're going to be signing forwards. The problem is,
and a goalie. What are we doing about a goalie? Don't we need another goalie?
Yes, and the goalie, like, God, there's so much to talk about. It's like, and it's an almost impossible amount of things for us to discuss. But yeah, we need a goalie too. Like Tessa Bonhomme during the draft broadcast was just like constantly talking about like, oh, they should really get a goalie here. Like someone should draft a goalie. Because it's the UFA goalies are tricky, especially now that Elaine Chuli has maybe been spoken for by Toronto. She won a championship in the PHF with the Toronto Six, and like she's from there, so she's interested in going back. She was a backup in Montreal. Very good goalie. I would love to have her as Seattle's backup, but it seems like she's interested in going to Toronto, and they're so interested in having her that they're looking to trade Kristen Campbell to make room, right? Like, so that's one option off the table. She may be a starter there, or like with Reagan Kirk, maybe like a 1A, 1B. There's like in UFA, that's the other thing is like, so.
Okay, really quick. I want to talk about this because we say these things a lot, and I just want to really understand.
Yeah.
So you talk about a starter goalie versus 1A, 1B. And so I think I understand, and just tell me if I'm wrong. A starter goalie basically is like you're going to play them unless they're hurt. And then a 1A, 1B.
If you're Ottawa, then if you're Ottawa with Emmerich Mashmeyer, then yes.
But then 1A, 1B is like they trade off every other game. Is that what we're talking about?
So typically when you have a starting goalie, you do want to give your backup goalie starts, right? Even when your starting goalie is not hurt. There's a bunch of reasons you want to do this. You don't want them getting cold or rusty if your starter does get hurt, right? And then you don't want them coming in with completely, like, they haven't played a game in 4 years or whatever, or in a year. You also want to give your starting goalie some rest, right? But maybe your backup goalie is only going in against teams that are in the bottom of the standings, right? You're playing them in lower stakes situations after you've locked up a playoff spot, that kind of thing. In the PWHL, it's a very short season, so there's not a lot of opportunity for backup goalies to play. But I think like Emma Soderberg with Boston played like 5 games last season. And then they had Peslarova come in when they had a third. That was Peslarova's her own situation. But yeah, that's what you're looking for. Is you're probably looking for at least 25 starts from your starting goalie, and 5 or so from your backup. In a 1A, 1B situation, you have 2 goalies that are kind of like of comparable talent, and you're just going back and forth, like depending on who's playing best.
I know you talked about this before. That's why I just want to make sure I really understand what that means. And
Minnesota was in that kind of situation even in the playoffs. They had Maddie.
They had 2 equally comparable goalies. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So do we have any idea who are back? Because I'm assuming Schroeder is going to be our starter, right?
Sure.
So then who are we looking for backup? Like who are we looking at for backup?
It could be. So I was thinking initially like we're going to draft a goalie. Yeah. But I was like looking at Ian Kennedy's draft list, and he like specifically says like this year is light on goalies. But then other people say that like this year has plenty of good goalies, right? The question is like, are we going to take a year where this is tricky. It goes to larger issues about whether we want to win now or build more long term. But like Hillary Knight and Alex Carpenter are like,
I want both.
Older, right?
I want both. I want to win now and long term. Let's make that happen.
You want to win now and long term. Well, first step for winning now and long term is winning now, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
So to win now, do you want to take 5 games in a league that historically, maybe parity goes away after this, but like historically, like it's been very tight. Yeah. Who gets in the playoffs and who doesn't get in the playoffs? Do you want to take 5 games on a goalie who might potentially be out of their depth, right? So that's why it's important to have, like, I like the Dave Flints there, right? I don't think we're going to draft a goalie that's going to be out of their depth. And I think if we're waiting for the draft to do that, then there's probably someone in mind. I've looked at some of the goals, but it's also like you look at the draft report, like from Kennedy, and he describes it as like a goalie light draft, right? So different opinions differ on this, But if you don't want to go into the draft or needing to draft a goalie that can hold their own in the PWHL, you can get someone who's like a proven backup. And fortunately, there's sort of more of those now than there used to be. And so we could go and draft. So Carly Jackson is probably looking for more starts.
You just got my wife excited.
I
Okay,
know.
wait, I'm putting it out in the universe. Zoe Boyd, Carly Jackson, we've got to up our queer contingent here. Come on.
Well, I mean, Troy Ryan, as coach of Toronto, did CJ like, I don't even want to describe it as a favor, but thank goodness he finally let CJ play.
Absolutely. On Pride night. On Pride
Yeah.
night, yeah.
And get the shutout and the shootout and only letting one goal in the game. And like, I'm not saying that CJ is this world beater goalie all of a sudden because they have like this great save percentage,
right,
as a result of this one fantastic game.
Yeah.
And there was a degree of the team rallying around CJ, but there were some great saves made in that game. I don't want to diminish that.
They did make some.
That was great. That was a really fun game to watch. But yeah, that's an option to go with like a former kind of third string goalie,
right,
and promote them as
backup,
to be backup, right?
Yeah.
So that would be the CJ route. That would also be like if we went with Sandra Abstreiter from Germany, who has always like super impressed me in international play. These goalies who in international play are a little tricky though. They play in Group B, and that kind of like inflates their save percentage a bit. But like Sandra Abstreiter is a good goalie. Like even playing, even in PWHL starts that she got with Ottawa. I don't think she got any starts last year with Montreal as their third string, but she was like the backup in Ottawa, and they just kept on playing Mashmeyer over and over and over again. It was like very difficult for Abstreiter to like get into a game. But she would be an option. And then like Emma Soderberg also, like I swear I read somewhere that she was going back to Europe, but that's where we're at with goalies. Like we can take kind of like a third string goalie and like elevate them. And like Carly Jackson would be one of those options.
Yeah.
And then it's UFA, right? So like the players have agency. We can't just be like, okay, CJ, you're a goalie now, right?
Right.
Like,
is Carly an unrestricted free agent?
Yeah. Oh, she is, or they are. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but maybe Vancouver's in the same situation as we are,
right?
Maybe
and they have
CJ wants to play in Vancouver,
and they have more cap space. CJ is Canadian as well, huh?
Yeah.
So
they're also queer, and
Seattle's cooler than Vancouver.
Definitely
So.
cooler.
I'm just kidding.
So.
I'm just kidding.
So Vancouver's cool too. And then there's also like going to draft,
right?
And I think the top rated goalie draft pick is Sani Ahola.
Yeah,
a Finnish goalie who plays in the NCAA.
Yeah.
So I'm not like the biggest NCAA fan, but I've done a little bit of research. So like trying to figure out where our goal is going to come from is going to be interesting. Yeah. And I think the best plan is to sign someone in UFA. That's just my bias, probably. I'm less familiar with the NCAA prospects. I'm more familiar with like the fringe PWHL players than the NCAA players. So that may be my bias showing. But
but they're also they're somewhat proven in the league. I mean, even if they've only played a couple of games, they played in the league, and so we've seen them. Whereas it's a whole different thing playing collegiate. Collegiate
I would like a backup goalie that has seen PWHL firepower and survived.
Yeah,
like that's my bias. And so like I've named off some of the goalies who might be available in that regard. There's always like the long shot hope that like because Teralova is captain Team Czechia somehow convinces Peslarova to like sign with
Yeah, that would be amazing, but I don't think it's going to happen.
No,
But
there's no
I've
way.
also heard, I mean, I think it was Ava that told us that
Yeah.
she wants to be a starting goalie.
Oh yeah.
And so I mean, we've already got our starter, so I think that would be a hard sell to get her here because we already have a starting goalie. So.
Oh yeah. No, this is just dreams.
For sure.
This is just a whisper of a dream. But but Peslarova is probably like, if New York wants her, like, New York is a great. We just stole their starting goalie, right? They need the starting goalie. Kaylee Osborne is great. I really like Kaylee Osborne, but I think Peslarova has the higher upside, the international pedigree, and would, Kaylee would be in, like, it would be a little bit of a competition because I Osborne's no slouch, but Peslarova is Peslarova. So I think so New York would be a pretty good landing spot if they don't sign Maddie Rooney or something like that. But
okay, so here's the deal, Bryan.
Yeah.
This is so much. And I want to put all this out, and I want to put all this out because this is all very pertinent to what's happening this week. So I want to know, just final thoughts, wrap up, what do you want to see before we go into the draft? What are you hoping happens?
So in terms of goaltenders, I would like a third string goaltender, formerly third string goaltender, signed in
as our backup. Okay.
I don't want to rely on the draft, but if that doesn't happen, I'm just going to trust that Flint and Turner know what they're doing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm not going to panic if that doesn't happen. That's just my bias, right?
Sure.
But I would like that. That's my instinct, right? I would like them to sign a right shot D. They've already talked about doing that. Yeah. If there's money for Sydney Morin, I would like them to. I think that's a great option. There's also Callie Flanagan from Toronto. She's from Boston though, so might want to go to Boston, right? So
yeah.
But maybe she goes to Boston, and then that kicks Morin out, and then Morin comes to Seattle. Like, it's all musical chairs right now.
It is. Yeah.
So that's who I would like. But barring that, Laskova and Condas is maybe we can elevate them to a higher role.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the forwards, there's just so many. There are clear ones that any team would love to have.
Right.
We're not really in the market for them.
I was like, well, we can't. Well, yeah, we're not in the market for it because we're already pretty stacked, and we don't got no money. So.
Right. So we can't attract them with ice time because they're like, what?
Right.
You're going to play me ahead of Alex Carpenter? You're going to play me in front of Jesse Eldridge? Right? That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Barring injury, and they don't want to risk their contract or future contracts on waiting for someone to get injured, right?
Right.
When they can just go and be a top line center somewhere, right? Or top line forward somewhere, right? So there's this huge group of UFAs that I just want every door knocked, basically. I want Meg Turner to be talking to all of them, right?
Yeah.
And figure out which ones want to be here, and knowing that they're probably not going to get a lot of money, and come play for Seattle, right?
Yeah.
They're dreams I would have. I really love, as a player, Lexi Agia. I think she's amazing. I've been a fan with her ever since she kind of broke out with that hot streak in Ottawa in year one.
She's a fashion hockey player. I watch her for her walk-ins. I know exactly who she is, only because she's fashion. Yep.
Lexi's amazing. Amazing personality. Would be great for selling the game in Seattle.
Yep, I agree.
Even she, as a depth player, might be out of her price range. But
and interestingly enough, her boyfriend plays for the Titans, I think. So that would be that's a stretch for them to be across the country. I mean, not that they're not across the. I mean, not that they're not in the same city now, but they're across the country from each other. So just a thought. The love angle, putting the love angle in there.
Some other players I like. There's a bunch. I'm a New York Sirens fan. I hesitate to steal away any more of their players, but they're free agents now. So
That's right.
I really
you're a
like
Seattle fan, Brian. You're a
you're a Seattle fan.
But I like Jade Downey Landry. I've got a list here. I like Elizabeth Giguere, I think is really good, and Chloe Arard, who's from France.
Okay.
It'd be really cool. There's Anna Mixner from Germany on Ottawa, who had, I think, a really good playoffs. But it may be too good a playoffs. I mean, and I'm not even she's not going to be making 80K or anything like that, but she's probably pretty comfortable in Ottawa, and they might have the space to give her a little bit of a raise. Laura Kluge from Germany in Toronto, and Claire DeGeorge in Montreal. These are all players I would be very excited to get, but I'm also kind of just looking at how much cap space the other teams have, even these depth. Well, some of these are kind of not even depth players, or mid-tier players. And that's the other problem, right? It's if you're any of these players, maybe you're a third liner, right? And you're hoping to kind of break in to a second line somewhere.
Right, absolutely.
Really
you're looking for a promotion.
Doing
absolutely.
it on our team is going to be tough, really tough.
Yeah.
So these are kind of my dreams. Maybe one of them just has a real soft spot in their heart for the West Coast, Seattle, and wants to come out here and do it. But other than that, it's the bottom half of those 40 forward UFAs.
Yeah.
And I can't analyze, this is where Meg Turner is going to have a chance to really shine. If she can pick out the diamonds in the rough, the underutilized players, the reserve players who just need a better opportunity, that's where this team is going to be kind of made or broken. So good luck Megan Turner.
Good luck, Megan Turner. We appreciate we appreciate her. We appreciate her already. I think she's doing a bang up job. Did you have any final thoughts?
I don't know that it's a final summing up thought, but I did want to say that Brian gave me my new favorite jacket.
That's right.
Here. He won it in a raffle. Thank you, Zoe, for all the stuff she raffles off every time we go to the Rough and Tumble. And your wife, oh my gosh, Rebecca.
Yeah, I was going to give it to my wife, and she actually went on the website for Lululemon and was like, "No, this is too small for me." So,
So very, very thankful for that. I haven't taken it off but once or twice.
Yeah, she's been sleeping in it, guys. She's been sleeping in this jacket. That's how much she loves it.
Yeah.
Can I get in one more UFA before we go?
Get in one more UFA. One more UFA, and then we got to go to family dinner.
So because this is a fun one too. I'm a big Team Japan. There's a whole thing with me.
Oh, you talked about this Team Japan. Yeah,
Team Japan.
We talked about it on our thread. We didn't talk about it here.
So I'm a big fan of Team Japan International Women's Hockey. From when they first got into the Olympics. Watched when they got their first goal as a team, which took a while in that Olympics, and then I watched them get their first win, and a huge fan of Nana Fujimoto, the legendary Japanese goalie who's now retired. But so I'm really so watching them get elevated into Group A and then get knocked back down into Group B. This team is very, very special. I love Team Japan, but there's a Kane Shiga who played in the inaugural year in Ottawa, and I was a big Ottawa fan in part because of that. And unfortunately, and I thought, Seattle, she can be our Ichiro, right?
Okay, that's baseball. That's baseball, people. I'm proud of myself right now. I knew that was
Ichiro.
baseball. Yeah, that's right.
But unfortunately, she got really badly injured in this past World Championship.
No.
She got stretchered off the ice.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I looked, and she posted on Instagram. She looked so sad with her crutches in her calf.
Oh no.
So sad. But I'm hoping that she's ready to play in the Olympics for Japan this year. But I'm not sure she's going to be ready. But she had a great year in Sweden. She left the PWHL, she went to Sweden. She had a very good year.
Oh, good.
A lot of this information I get is off of Kyle Cushman's master spreadsheet, which is just invaluable for anyone following the league. And I have to give him a shout out.
No, for sure. Yeah. Give all the shout outs.
But Shiga is on the top of his European. She's not European, but she plays in Europe. His European free agents list. So like this would be a great opportunity for her to return and maybe be a little bit closer to Japan, being on the Pacific,
the Pacific
coast,
side,
but injured. So I don't know.
Wow.
Not going to happen, I don't think.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Oh my goodness, Bryan. Thank you. Thank you. This has been amazing.
Treasure trove.
It's definitely he is the brain trust. I'm telling you guys, if we come up with any good factoids, it's because Bryan told us.
Well, and also I have to say, like, I learn a lot from being on this. There's a lot of people that know more than me. Like,
I'm not saying you're the most learned person in the world, Bryan. I'm saying you're smarter than me.
But on Discord, the PWHL fan community is fantastic. Like,
yes.
On Discord, on Reddit as well. Like
in real life too. We like each other in real life. It's fun.
Yep.
And so like there's all this our niche interest that we don't want to be so niche in the future, right? Is like really inspiring a lot of passion and people bringing a lot of like attention to detail, and it's like one of the like it's like the most fun like fandom that I've ever been a part of. Like it's so cool.
Mic drop.
I was like, yeah, that's it.
That's
mic drop right there. The most fun fandom. And as always, hockey is fun.
Hockey is fun.
We have to say that hockey is fun.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Well, Bryan, I just want to thank you so much for your time. I appreciate this. I appreciate your download of all this information. I cannot wait to see, because we're going to drop this Monday morning.
I don't know how you're going to edit this.
No, I'll edit it. Don't worry. I got you. But like, we'll drop this, and then we're going to see what of Bryan's picks comes to life, guys. And what of my, forcing out into the universe my desires for a
hopes and dreams,
a queer team. Mm-hmm. There is too much. We're gonna have to do this again, 100%. Thank you, Bryan.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate you.
We really do.
Okay, guys.
I appreciate your podcast. And you as well.
That's our episode. Bye-bye. And that's the show. Tune in next time for another episode of Gloves Off Seattle.